All right, welcome to the latest edition of Ragic Office Hour. And let's get started by doing a little bit of recap on our latest features. One of our less known feature that we just introduced is having the ability to do some arithmetic calculations on numeric fields. So for example, let's create a numeric field here. Maybe there's an amount field here. So it's gonna be, the field type is number. So on the number field, you will be able to do some calculations. So for example, if you start the string by using an equal sign, and you could say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So this, when you blur, when you move away from the cell, it's gonna do an arithmetic calculation on the value, on the formula that you just entered. So this is quite handy if you have like some numbers that you would like to add up or do some basic calculation, and you would like to enter it on certain Ragic fields. And you will be able to use this as a quick way to do calculations so that you don't have to pull up a calculator from your computer or from your cell phone to do the calculations. You could just do it in the cell right here. This is quite convenient for data input. So another thing that we're going to introduce in our recap this week is that we have added the ability to hide or show sections with conditional formatting. So if you go to the design mode here and you go to form tools and go to conditional formatting, when you create a rule, you will be able to add some rule to show or hide sections. So you will be able to, for example, say show a section only if the condition is met. So you could choose a section, choose a couple of sections that are hidden or shown only when the condition is met. This is pretty useful when you have a very large and complex field and you are hiding a lot of complexities under these sections. And a lot of times, some of these sections will only be useful when certain conditions are met. So if you have a lot of sections on the large sheet that you have, you will be able to add conditional formatting conditions so that some of those more complex less frequently used sections will only be shown when certain conditions are met. So these two are a couple of new features that our existing users might not be very well aware of and that we just introduced in the recent months. All right, and let's get back to the questions. First question. Recalculate set of fields. All right. To supplement my last suggestion, I would ask you to make another performance improving feature for power users. Sometimes I need to recalculate the set of fields. Neither a single field nor all the fields across the sheet as well, because math calculations takes a lot of time and slows the performance of the database. So only part of the fields, not all the fields, okay? For instance, see the picture? This is a set of fields that I want to recalculate. Okay, let me finish the sentence first. Set of fields I want to recalculate. Now there are only two ways to do it. Push all formula recalculations or recalculate them one after one. Both takes much more time than if I could set only particular fields to recalculate. It's not urgent, but please discuss with your development team on a further meetup. It could also save extra resources both for you and your customers. Thank you. Yeah, I do understand that sometimes it would be really helpful if you can specify which formulas that you would like to recalculate. But we have discussed initially about doing these kind of customized recalculations to choose which sheets that you want to trigger the recalculations based on your current record editing. And yeah, right now choosing the sheets that would require this type of recalculation is um, kind of complex enough. So of course we could just add another configurations to for users to choose which fields to recalculate. But and by default it will recalculate all the fields. So I guess this is also something we could take into account consideration. So when doing recalculations, we don't always have to recalculate all the fields. So yeah, and thank you for your suggestion. And I do think that providing ways for power users to specify which fields to recalculate would prove to be pretty useful and could be very useful and save a lot of system resources. But the problem for us would still be that we're not sure if this type of configuration will be used by enough users to really make a difference in the system resource consumption. But whenever it's used, I believe it will be beneficial to both the users and from a system admin perspective, to that your sheets will run faster and it will save quite a bit of resource running on the server. So yeah, thank you for your suggestion, and we will certainly discuss this. Discuss this with our team when we start designing customized. All right, thank you. All right, next question. Hidden fields. I know hidden fields can be checked and unchecked in design mode. Okay, but as SYSAdmin, there are times I just need a quick way to see the values without going into the design. It's mostly to make sure everything is calculating correctly. Yeah, that makes sense. When we're looking into user issues, that it does take a little bit of time for us to we want to see how the calculations are going, so we want to see the hidden fields. Is there a way to unhide all hidden fields at once and then hide them again when I'm done, instead of changing the setting in design mode? Yeah, I think this makes sense, and yeah, it would also be helpful for our support team when they are looking into problems that our users are reporting. So because a lot of times to look into the issues that users report, we will need to look into hidden fields because they're usually part of the calculation. So if the formula calculation is more complex, or there are a lot of link and low relationships between them, and hidden fields will certainly usually be a part of these kind of complex relations. So yeah, I think this makes sense, and I'll let our team know if we can find a simple way for system admins to turn on and turn off the hidden fields so that they can see them when needed without going into the design mode. Okay, and all right, and I think that's it for the questions for today. And thank you for joining in on the office hour session this week. And if you have any other questions, feel free to use the office hours question sheet to ask your questions. And we will talk again in 2 weeks. And happy holidays. Thank you. Goodbye.